After years of plausible deniability, I know living in the end works. So, I've always been a highly spiritual person. Cognitive dreams when younger. Really sensitive to energy. Naturally into the mystic sciences etc. blah blah. Numerous synchronicities, over time. But of course, throughout that time, and through disappointments, of course there's always been an element of me to say, well, even if it doesn't really work, I should be living in the end, having faith, going to sleep with the wish fulfilled etc. so, it'll work anyway. Whilst I'm very spiritual, I'm also, due to upbringing, very practical. I want evidence. Searching for this evidence had led me to understand that many spiritual practices are based on, or linked to various aspects of neurology and cognitive behavior. Okay, fine. I've also been very skeptical of religion. So, of course, when I first heard Neville go from talking about manifestation to the law and the promise, I first said, oh boy. Here we go. Well, there's just been too many bridges of incidents over my journey for me to say, well, that would have happened anyway. Secondly, the deep esoteric allegorical knowledge of ancient scripts, the Bible etc. is amazing, that Neville had in his brain. Especially if you think about the fact that computers didn't exist, and they, at that time, barely had a mail system that could get information from one point of the globe to the other in under a month. Neville says put it to the test. Well, I did. Here's what I did. I had the luxury of, for about 9 months gestation period, what a coincidence, kind of immersing myself in spiritual studies, without actually becoming a monk, because, well, hey, here, on the planet we live in, we still have bills to pay. 1. Constructing a scene. I constructed a basic scene that would represent my wishes fulfilled. To make this practical, basically I took a few of my desires, that all linked together, created a scene to meditate on, as the end result, and basically did just that. Meditated on it each day, and, as much as I could, in my imagination, imagine that I was living out that scene reality all day. I mixed this with Seth Jane Roberts' practices of not doing creative visualization for more than 15 minutes at a time, and totally dropping it once complete. At the time, my scene seemed somewhat possible, but kind of improbable. More wishful, or hopeful, than anything. Hope deferred, anyone. A title of a Neville lecture. Anyway, I summarized it all into one, I am, statement, or affirmation. It's a scene. Result. I now live that scene, almost exact, but, naturally, with greater quality, every day. Bonus. I also added an Earl Nightingale technique from The Strangest Secret, of putting one goal, wish, desire, into the shortest sentence, and sticking that sentence on a piece of paper and putting it in my wallet, for 30 days at a time per desired manifestation. 2. Going to sleep, as if the wish is fulfilled. This is a powerful one. Because, well, science says that when one goes to sleep, their mood, when they do, is the most important thing to their mental health. I used Neville's practice of pretending he was sleeping in New York, when he was really in the army wishing to be discharged. This was difficult for me, because then I'd end up overthinking whilst trying to go to sleep. So, instead, I just sleep as if I was in the place where I would be if my wishes were fulfilled. So, quite simply I imagined the window where it would be if I were in the place I wanted to be, if I were actually there. Result. I'm actually here. 3. I remember when. This technique I used almost regularly. If not daily, at least weekly. I would say, I remember when I was in the current situation, before the wish is fulfilled. Result. I do remember when, in actuality, now. Those 3 things were actual, practical, exercises that I did regularly. Now, as if the above wasn't enough, I just stumbled across a little vision board that I made years ago, during that time, and, by vision board, I mean, a notebook with a few magazine images of what I wanted to manifest thrown on a piece of paper. Yeah, this doesn't have to look pretty. It's just vibration, isn't it? Results. It's as if that vision board was an Amazon order that showed up a few years later. A few years. Wow, it took that long, you say. Well, sure, because, as Neville said numerous times, if it be long, wait. For it is sure and will not be late. He's quoting Habakkuk 2:3. If it seems slow, wait for it, it will surely come, it will not delay. So, it works. And if you believe that it doesn't work, then, it does. Because, since everyone is yourself pushed out then, well, you get the point.